And now it's going to be a sack. Chris Jones smokes Phillip Rivers right back at the 40.
He's not banking on the skill that he's been blessed with.
He goes up the right seam. 25-20. Touchdown! Kareem Hunt! He's around Standard. Look at him go! Impossible! Touchdown, Kansas City! Carr's in trouble. He is going to be pulled down and sacked. Justin Houston.
Chiefs get a victory here in Cleveland on the shores of Lake Erie, 37-21. Mitch Holtis with you along with BJ Kissel. But how big was this game for the Cleveland guys? Kareem Hunt, 160 total yards. Kelsey, 2 touchdowns, almost 100 yards receiving. What about the day for those guys?
And 4/5 of the offensive line spent time here, but you knew this meant a lot coming into this game. You knew it meant a lot coming into the game to Kareem Hunt because of the connection to Willoughby South. It's 19 miles from here at First Energy Stadium. He invited Matt Duffy, his head coach there at Willoughby South, and bought more than 100 tickets for those kids to come out to this game. So you know he wanted to show out for them, and he did a fantastic job of that early in this game with the 50-yard screen to get things going. But we've seen it over the last 3 games, 8 total touchdowns from Kareem Hunt. The guy's a machine, just keeps rolling.
This is like Dana Hughes when he had to spend his whole game check on all those people from Jersey that came to watch him play. But this offense, they were rolling. The only time was stopped is at the end of the half in kind of desperation. But just the roll that this offense is on, and Mahomes 3 more touchdown passes.
Yeah, I think 375 yards, 3 touchdowns from Mahomes, and you just kind of expect it every week, and that's a career high for him in terms of passing yards. And sometimes we lose track of the number of records that this offense is setting, but that's 5 straight games with at least 30 points, which ties a franchise record. That's 8 games of at least 30 points out of the 9 they played this season, which is tying a franchise record, Mitch. And we're in week 9, and you start looking at these numbers and what they're doing. It is truly special. And I hope that we can all step back and appreciate. I know we get caught up in the week to week and every play, but let's step back and appreciate what we're seeing from this offense and from Patrick Mahomes right now, because this is truly special.
And you mentioned it, 4 ex-Browns on the 5 offensive linemen. They had a really good day against a great Cleveland front. We're going to hear from Chris Jones later in the show. We'll also hear from Spencer Ware. He had a big day.
Yeah.
But let's go back to studio to ask Dana Hughes about that long-lost game check and Tom.
You have a couple of guys who this week to get free from injury, get back out on that field and fight with their brothers. Anthony Hitchens, Tyreek Hill, talk about their toughness, their character.
Yeah, both of them were banged up, and both of them wanted to play. Hitch probably even a little bit more than Tyreek, but Tyreek wasn't in great shape either. And both of them were going to play. I mean, that was just their mentality. We are playing, so just count us in. Don't take our plays out. We'll be there. And Tyreek's a warrior now. I mean, he doesn't complain about anything. And Hitch is a tough dude now. I think we all know that. So neither one of them complained. They just took care of business, and it worked out okay.
Well, I know you put a lot of emphasis on special teams, and you talk about it all the time. They come up with a huge block tonight. Was that something you expected? Is it just something that a player made happen?
I'll tell you, they work on this, but 2-6 did a heck of a job now. And that ball, 90% of the time, is going to bounce right into your hands right there, and the son of a gun rolled opposite. But he did a great job of getting in there. And he's a good kid now, man. He's worked hard to be a part of this thing, and he could be a good running back too with the opportunities. But anyways, he did a heck of a job there.
I can't imagine his teammates are going to let him forget that. Homecoming for a couple of guys.
Yeah, listen, 3 out of our 5 starting offensive linemen were here, and were released. And then Kels is from here, and 32's from close enough by, from Ohio. So, and then our running back is also another Ohio guy. So we had a lot of guys coming home.
Can you just reflect for me as you start this second half of the season? Reflect for me, not on the football necessarily, but I've been around this team a long time. There's something special going on in that locker room. Reflect on the first half of the season, would you?
Yeah, it's a good chemistry right now. We've got enough old guys, veteran players, with enough young guys that want to be good, and so we're clearly not over yet. I mean, we're still working, but there is. They like each other. They've showed that during the OTAs, during training camp. They work well together. If one side of the ball is struggling, then the next side picks up, and we've seen that both ways. Or special teams makes a play, and that's important. So everybody's contributing, which also helps. So that makes it a good, solid team. And we got to keep growing. That's where you're at. So you come out of these games, and this is a situation where 50% of the teams that have been in this situation since 2010 have lost games. There were like 12 different opportunities, and 6 of the teams lost in the same situation. So, it's important that you push through a game like this, and with a team that has a lot of talent.
Well, it was brought up there. Let's talk mentality, because we saw, for example, the media goes in the locker room Friday and everybody is so relaxed. They're playing basketball. Chris Conley's razzing them for some things. It's a good atmosphere. But if you are Kareem Hunt, you're Travis Kelce, are there some butterflies going back home, or could that fuel you? How would you feel?
Well, I think first and foremost, when you're winning, that breeds that kind of atmosphere in the locker room. But also, the emotions that come out when you go back home, especially if you haven't been there for a long time. The Chiefs don't play in Cleveland every single season, so it makes it extra special for guys like Kareem Hunt and Travis Kelce. And also, don't forget about the guys, the 3 offensive linemen that played for the Cleveland Browns. They want to shove it in their face. They want to show what kind of mistake that organization made by letting those guys go. So there's different levels of emotion that go through players' minds in these situations.
We saw Kareem Hunt have his big day. Travis Kelce just keeps it up. What do you think is the biggest key to his consistency? He always seems to be that red zone guy and chunk yardage receiver.
I think it's about the velocity and the ball and how quickly the ball gets into his hands. The fact that he can run these type of routes and the ball is there. That's not a knock against Alex Smith and what he had to experience early in his career, but he knows if he gets just a little bit of separation, the ball's going to be there in a perfect place where he can make a play, and that is something that all receivers or receiving tight ends relish.
I do just want to say that the edge in the Cleveland native touchdown contest, edge Kareem Hunt, he had 3, Kelce had 2. Next time, Travis. Big numbers for these guys, and they continue to just be big cogs in this offense. Not to mention, as Coach Andy Reid brought up, Spencer Ware from Cincinnati, Ohio, where Kelce went to college, of course. Bit of a homecoming-ish for him as well. We'll talk to him coming up next one-on-one in our player interview here on Chiefs Rewind.
Second down and 8 for the Chiefs at the 11 of the Browns. Chiefs lead by 4. Mahomes takes the snap, looks middle, now fires for the end zone. Kelce's got it. Touchdown, Kansas City. And now Cleveland Heights High School can celebrate because one of their own tastes the sweet nectar of the end zone. 2 drives, 2 touchdowns for Kansas City. He was a quarterback in Southwest Ohio, but it still works in Northeast Ohio with me, Spencer Ware. I'm going to ask you first about the play you had of 21 yards on the first drive of the second half, and your ability to get the ball back to you and make a big play there.
Man, I just try to be there for my team, help out when I can, make my big plays like I've done in the past. I'm going to do it in the future, but I'm just excited. Like I say, each and every week, I'm just getting better and better, just being able to help my team and being able to actually, ball and make some of those big plays like my teammates are doing.
Well, you made a big play there, but I want to ask you about the screen game in particular. Kareem got the 50-yarder for the touchdown. You had some more big screens. Why was the screen game working not only today, but what's made it so effective this season?
Just the work we done put into it. Over the last couple of years, we haven't been that successful at the slow screens or the play-action screens, but this year and this offseason, we really put an emphasis to it and tried to get the timing down. This time, and it's hard to practice it, but you have to do it in games. And so far this season has been, doing wonders for us.
And how much of that is Patrick and his ability to have the play action and his sense of timing?
You have to get back deep. So therefore, that helps us. You have to get under those crossing routes for the linebackers and things like that. So all that does is allow us to, be able to get out into open space with a couple of our blockers out in front of us, and it makes their job a little bit easier too for the big guys running downfield. So, everybody just working together. It's a collective. I'm trying to say, like, we just in it together, and it works.
I want to ask you about being in it together, because this is only my 25th year in the league, but I've never seen a better locker room. And I mean it. What's going on in this locker room? Guys come back. Hitch comes back from being injured. He had to get on the field today. And you've been around here long enough. What's going on with these guys?
Man, it's I mean, we young, we hungry. We want to do some great things for the city. A lot of people have been counting us out for the last couple of years with this program, and we just been shocking the world. I mean, we've had this talent that's been over here. It's just now finally that it's getting showcased, and we just got to keep it going. But as far as this team, I mean, we're friends in there. We're friends. We work for each other and we fight for each other. You know, so anytime we get on that field, we're trying to give another person a yes, Lord moment. Feel me? So that's what we got to do.
That seemed as genuine to me as anything you'll hear from a lot of NFL players. He mentioned it. The talent has been here. What has changed to see the results we've seen?
I think you have just everybody buying in. And you know, in the dynamics in the locker room are a little bit different. They're a little unique. Sometimes you have clicks on the defense that don't really mix in well with the offense. Sometimes there's such a combativeness between the two because of competition during offseason that you don't have that gel that comes together during the season. There's a lot of young talent on this team, a lot of young guys that really get together, connect so well on and off the field. That's what makes this such a special team.
And even as a backup, Spencer Ware, a big part of that and a big part of our pivotal moment. Once again, this has been the running theme. The Chiefs drive out of halftime. Danon, take it away.
Well, I think when you talk about the Chiefs, obviously winning 9 coin tosses helps, that they know going into halftime that they're going to have the opportunity to get the ball. But this play right here, to me, was pivotal. 3rd and 4. The momentum had shifted just a bit to the Cleveland Browns as they scored right before halftime, kept that drive alive, and then Patrick Mahomes continuing to dice up the defense and hit open receivers and throw receivers open with this perfect pass there to Travis Kelce.
Do you see a extra ability from him in the red zone? There are some quarterbacks who can make those deep throws down the field, but do you see a difference with him inside the 20?
Oh, absolutely. I think you can see the velocity that he throws the ball with all throughout the field. You can see the arm strength on the deep throws. But what makes him so special in the red zone is that the ball can get on top of the receivers so quickly. Last week, we had a touchdown thrown to Travis Kelce that got on him so quickly that the safety couldn't come down and help the other safety or the linebacker that was guarding Travis Kelce. That throw right there, high pointed, only in a place where Travis Kelce can make the play without any help from the opposing safety. That makes him dangerous in the red zone. Anytime you get inside that 20-yard line, if he's going to throw the ball that hard, defenses aren't going to be able to keep up.
He made it look easy. Kelce was like, nah, caught it. We're good. Do a little dance. Let's dance our way to the locker room next. Inside the locker room coming up next on Chiefs Rewind.
Today here in Cleveland, the Chiefs come out on top 37-21 over the Browns. Patrick Mahomes threw for 375 yards. He threw 2 touchdowns to Travis Kelce, an Ohio native. He also threw 1 to Kareem Hunt, who added 2 more rushing touchdowns of his own on the day. That locker room could not be more ecstatic for the two of them coming back home and having performances like that. First of all, tell us about the performance today. What did you think overall?
Well, anytime you get a win, it's a good thing. Still a lot of things on defense that we're still trying to correct and get right, but we all fought hard. Offense still was amazing. Special team was amazing. They were able to come up with a big play. It's team football.
Yeah. When you see the offense put up 500-plus yards of total offense, what does that do for you guys? How does that, I don't know, how does that kind of build you guys up too?
It sets the bar, and on defense, we know when the offense is playing that well, we just need to get stops. So it definitely motivates us.
500-plus yards of total offense today. You guys just keep rolling. What is the key to your success right now?
Apparently getting a lot of penalties and getting second and 30s. No, I mean, we didn't play that well up front. I feel like we had a lot of penalties, a lot of getting us back and putting us in adverse situations, and obviously Pat Special and Kareem and those skill guys. So I think we're going to look back and, think about what could have been in terms of up front, cleaning stuff up, cleaner pockets, less penalties. And we got a lot of improvement, yeah.
Big story was your return, but also the two Ohio natives in Travis Kelce and Kareem Hunt. Man, they had spectacular days. What were you seeing from Kareem today?
The same thing we've seen all year. Just first guy never tackles him, and second and third usually don't either. So, I mean, the way he's running, it's just incredible. I've never seen it before. And then, it's the physicality and the power, but I think it's the crazy balance. It's the ability to kind of hop on one leg and stay out there. So, I think the balance gets lost in things, and that's really what makes him special.
Okay, enough about the running back. Can we not leave out Patrick Mahomes, the poor quarterback, out any longer? Good day for Kareem, great day for Travis Kelce. Those guys had big impact. But Mahomes, a new career high, 375 yards passing. Let's take a look back at his day and just sort of how it all came together. And against this Browns defense, against a team in such turmoil where you're unsure of what you might see, what do you think Patrick excelled at the most today?
Well, I thought he read the defense exceptionally. And what I mean by that is you can see him looking off safeties, knowing exactly where he wants to go with the ball before he releases it. And because he has such a strong arm, he can wait till the last minute to throw the ball down the field. He doesn't have to eye his receivers. In that last pass to Tyreek Hill, he knew he was going there from the beginning, and yet he still waited enough time to move the defensive back away. Right there, throwing it in that tight window where the DBs really have no opportunity to converge on the receiver, never mind try to get a deflection or an interception.
The Chiefs had 5 players have at least 50 yards receiving, and this has been a running theme, is diversification of targets. Yeah. But if you're a young quarterback, don't you have that tendency to find the one guy and just keep throwing to him? How has Mahomes been able to stay so diverse in his approach?
I think he's aware of that. I think in his mind, he recognizes, trusts Eric Bieniemy, he trusts Andy Reid in dialing up plays that is going to allow him to move the ball around the field. He knows he has a lot of confidence in every receiver that steps in the huddle. Doesn't have a favorite guy. Doesn't look around and throw somebody out of the huddle to bring someone else in because he wants that special player to make that play. He's a guy that's a true leader, and everybody feeds off of that. And every guy, no matter who you are, if you have an eligible number that's going to go downfield and be able to catch a pass, they break the huddle, salivating at the opportunity to maybe get a pass thrown to them by Patrick Mahomes.
One number I think that would like to be eligible is 95. Chris Jones. He wants to play offense so bad. We'll hear his thoughts on the defense. That's coming up next on Chiefs Rewind.
Kareem Hunt, single back, in motion, Tyreek Hill, they give it off, Kareem Hunt, slanting right into the middle of the line, touchdown, Kansas City, the second of the day for Cleveland native Kareem Hunt. 3 drives, 3 touchdowns if you're keeping score at home.
Chiefs get the win here, 37-21. With this is Stone Cold. I got to ask you about the sack. It came at a huge time. Your ability to get the sleeper on Baker Mayfield.
With the rule in effect right now with the quarterback, protecting the quarterback, I don't want to drive no guy in the ground. They hit him with nice fines, 10K to be exact. So now I'm just trying to wrap him up, keep him up, and let the ref blow the whistle.
Coming in this game, you had 4 straight games with a sack, so I thought it was a bold strategy for them not to block you on that play. But as a passer, just what's going through your mind when all of a sudden it kind of parts ways and you've got a free lane to the quarterback?
I just told my teammates, when you're living right, God blesses you. I don't know what happened on that play. I know we sent a pressure, and the line blocked down. The guard was confused whether he going to grab Hitch or he going to let me go. And I guess he found Hitch more deadly than me, so he let me go.
Bad strategy.
Bad strategy.
But I want to ask you, though, about defending the running backs in the passing game. I knew Duke Johnson would be a weapon coming in, but you guys seem to adjust and do a better job later in the game. What was the adjustment you guys made?
I think first half we kind of beat ourselves, got out of our character as a defense, and we made the second half adjustments. Bob came in, got those guys right, and, we kind of played our type of defense during the second half.
How much fun is it as a defensive player to know every time you stand on the sideline, sometimes you don't get a whole lot of break because they go down and the offense goes down and scores pretty quickly, but just how much confidence do you have watching that group out there?
Hey man, I tell everybody I'm like a fan on a sideline. Like I'm sitting in the crowds just watching the show. You never know what you're gonna get out of our offense. We got so many schemes and crossing routes and play action, screening this way or this way. I mean, we got so much exciting things going on. You have no choice but to be excited.
We talked with Spencer Ware about this too, but what's going on in this locker room? Hitch worked his way to get back on the field. Guys are trying to fight to get on the field instead of get off the field. What does that mean in the accountability in the locker room?
It's just the character of this team. You know, we got grit. There's a lot of grit on this team, you know, whether it's defense or offense. Guys want to be out there. Guys want to play. And, you know, they want to play for their brothers. You know, this team is exciting, you know, offense and defense, and guys want to be a part of it.
Well, and Chris mentions we beat ourselves a bit. And can you get too picky in a 37-21 win on the road? Maybe you can. It starts off our chief observation, starting off with a lot of the penalties, Dana, and the miscues offensively.
Well, I think when you win games, that's the opportunity to reflect on some of the negatives, Tom. But this team has incurred way too many penalties. 11 penalties on the afternoon, 7 of those in the first half, but yet they've been able to overcome those with big plays multiple times. 3rd down and 20, 3rd down and 10. Extra yardage that's needed because of those setbacks. They're still able to keep drives alive because Patrick Mahomes does his thing out of the pocket.
And this was not the usual stuff where they have the false starts because of the motions and whatnot. This was some holds. They had 3 calls on 1 play. There was a 1-yard run. So keep an eye on that moving forward. Okay, Bob Sutton, his creativity you thought really shined in this one.
I thought he did. He came out with this blitz. Jordan Lucas coming from the 2nd level, confusing the offensive line. Multiple times you saw 6, 7 guys line up at the line of scrimmage, confusing the offense and Baker Mayfield. That's the creativity of Bob Sutton, designing a defense that can capitalize on mistakes, and that's what they did here. Steven Nelson comes up with the interception because of that creativity.
And finally, with the late bye week, week 12, you're going to have to play through some stuff. Mitch has harped on this, and I think for good reason. Team grit.
Well, you heard Chris Jones talk about this team has grit. Well, no better example of that than how they're able to rebound from main guys getting injured. You have Mitch Morse out. You have multiple offensive linemen. Justin Houston is still lined up on the sideline. Eric Berry, there's no timetable on when he's going to return. Yep. They just replace other guys that buy into the philosophy, buy into whether they're going to be a special team contributor or a main guy on offense or defense, and they're still not able to have a hitch in their giddy up, as my old coach used to say. Yeah. Continue on and be able to play in a perfect fashion.
All right, coming up next, we hear from the players and the coach at the podium on Chiefs Rewind.
All in all, I thought it was a good game. I thought the guys came out and fought. These are tough. These kind of situations. It's a unique situation. So it's that's a tough thing to fight through. But I thought the guys came out and played hard. We had too many penalties. If there's a negative, we had 86 yards off of 11 penalties, which is ridiculous. You can't do that. That's like a whole day of hard work right there going backwards, and you don't want that. So, yeah, I'd tell you he's better. Yeah, I would tell you he's better. He has a better feel for everything, including the protections, which is the toughest thing for these guys to know. But we can keep him in on 3rd down. We don't do it. We give him a blow, and we have confidence in 32 to step in there and do it. But Kareem easily could be the guy there. But that's the toughest part of it. And then setting up routes is the second thing, and he does a great job with that. Being patient in the run game. He's a lot more patient with things. And then when he goes, he's going to punish you when he goes.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he played really, really well, catching the ball in the backfield and running the ball. I mean, he's a pivotal point in this offense. I mean, when he's running the ball like that, as well as catching out of the backfield, I mean, it makes it just that much harder for defense to stop us. And I feel like when you have guys like that at every position who are just trying to do their role and be the person that they are, that's when you have those good offenses.
We was very tight all week. We knew we were coming back home, and Trav, one of my best friends on the team for sure, and we definitely can relate because we both came from this area. We know everything about it, and it's kind of special that we on the same team going out there and having a big game for both of us. He had a big game, and I had a big game. I think only Cleveland people scored today, so that's a good thing.
Back here in Cleveland, Chiefs get the win, start the second half of the season with a victory. Credit to Steven Nelson, had a pick. Fuller with a couple plays on 2-point conversions. Cleveland went for all of them. But this is a special team. We talked to the guys about it early in the show. When you get an Anthony Hitchens that is driven to be on the field, what's that mean?
I think coming out of last week's game, you knew that he had the big shot, that his ribs were really sore. Coach Reed talked about that Monday during this week. And for the fact that he got out there and played, had to go out, went back to the locker room for a little bit, and then came back out on the field. He knew he was playing through some stuff. And he signs his lucrative contract. The defense has had its struggles this year. For a guy to fight to get back out on the field, it says one thing about the performance for this game, but what it means to those guys in the locker room. And a new guy, even though he's been here since OTA, signed him as a free agent, that sent a message to the rest of that locker room. And that's something that words and stats and tackles and all that, what that does mentally for that group and bringing them together goes way beyond numbers that we can look at.
Yeah, and a big game coming up. It's going to be the 100th anniversary of the armistice. I'm going to tell you, it's going to be an emotional day. The Chiefs are playing on that actual day. And so with the Arizona Cardinals coming in, but it's way more than football, but be in that stadium because this team deserves it.
Yeah, you look at this offense, and people are coming out to watch it because they want to see it in person. You can see it on the TV and all the highlights. They got great angles and all that, but you got to come out and watch this in person because he's making some very, very, very difficult throws look very easy. That touchdown to Travis Kelce, where Travis Kelce basically looked like Tony Gonzalez blocking out a guy down on the block. That throw was an amazing throw if you look at it from different angles, and this is a show you get to see every single week, and it's special.
But be there next week. Again, the Salute to Service Day, but also the 100th anniversary of the actual armistice to end World War I. Chiefs win it here and stay on a roll.
Time to wrap it up here on Chiefs Rewind. Tom Martin, Dana Hughes with you. And one thing we'd like to talk about real quick before looking ahead to the Cardinals next week is one oddity, in a way, that the Browns tried in this game. They went for 2 every time they scored, and they went 0 for 3. So a field goal's off the board. This is Greg Williams doing. He told the broadcast this is what he wanted to do. What do you make of this? And was this just another example of the Chiefs maybe benefiting from a tumultuous week in Cleveland?
Well, I think it's compound. One of the factors that comes to mind, Tom, is the fact that this Chiefs team is forcing teams outside their element, outside their comfort zone, forcing other teams to do things that are not customary in the NFL. To start chasing points in the first quarter is not necessarily a recipe for success. I thought the third drive that the Browns had, they went heavy run game because in the first 2 drives, they recognized they really couldn't stop this Chiefs team. Yeah. So their best complement to that was to try to run the ball and keep the ball on their side. Then they went after multiple 2-point conversions. To me, you don't chase points that early in the game if you have confidence in your guys.
And big ups to Kendall Fuller. 2 big stops on those 2-point conversions. Let's check out the upcoming schedule. Arizona up next at Arrowhead Stadium. You then get that bye. Players, I'm sure, loving that. But not before the Rams game in Mexico City. The Raiders, we are, I think, aware of what they are right now. And then the Ravens, who always seem to be kind of, you're never really sure what they are, but they could be a real good test as well. But starting with Arizona, a 2-6 team, what's the mindset entering this one specific to them?
Well, I think it's very important that you don't overlook a team, especially the Cardinals. This is a team that can be desperate. Mm-hmm. They still have some veteran leadership on that team. Patrick Peterson, Larry Fitzgerald, guys that can rally the troops and have them fight to be spoilers at that time of the season. That's what you have to, especially how well this Chiefs team has played at home. You got to keep on that same cycle.
Can't look ahead, although all of America likely looking ahead to Rams, Chiefs, but not before a big home game. You heard how pumped up Mitch is. Go to the game just for him, if not for the rest of this Chiefs offense. Want to thank you for watching Chiefs Rewind. I'm Tom Martin. He's Dana Hughes. And on behalf of everybody at our 65 Toss Power Trap Studios, have a great night. And we'll see you next time.
Chiefs Rewind is brought to you by Ford, the official car and truck of the Kansas City Chiefs, and Community America Credit Union, the official banking partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.